Hello! It is March 10th and Pub Talk is back. It is open season and free agency is the big topic today for the NFL. Then we're going to sit back, drink some beer, and talk about some movies once again. And Hops of the Week is always to finish off the show. But before Pub Talk begins, we want to thank our sponsor, Route 11 Chips. Route 11 Chips, the best chips here in the Shenandoah Valley with great flavors such as barbecue, Chesapeake crab, and salt and pepper. 25 plus years of being in the business has led to some damn fine chips. So check out your local stores to grab your chip bag today. Okay, let's do this thing. Now, as I said at the very beginning, it's open season. The franchise tag deadline has come and gone now. Players have either signed their franchise tag and are held tightly to their teams right now, or they hit big money in free agency with contracts that, well, we'll go ahead and start off with it. We talked about it last week. Dak Prescott.
Ka-ching! Cha-ching! Ka-ching! Clink-a-clink, no coins in his freaking future. He's just straight cash, homie. He ain't gonna have to get
He's
any
not
coins.
Randy Moss.
No, he's not Randy Moss.
He's not straight cash homie Randy Moss.
He can be now. He can be straight cash.
He can be, but with how bad his team is, I would not want to be in that. I would not want to be straight cash homie. Maybe that's just me. But once again, you're paying all this money to this guy while you have a 43-year-old who's still doing everything that every guy dreams of, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, I find it kind of irritating and hypocritical to say, like, I want to win and I want to do all this, but then you have, it's like, okay, well, I want to play for this franchise, but you have to give me $40 million a year. While Tom Brady has always been like,
I'll take less.
I just want to win.
Yeah,
like,
I'll take less and keep the good guys on my team.
I find it very irritating. I really do, because that's everyone's like, yeah, I want to go to the NFL, but then when they get to the NFL and they realize that, you know, oh, well, I need my money now because I know I'm going to get hurt, so I need to make sure I make as much money as I can. Because right now, there are plenty of players out there who I'm sure would love to have Dak's money, but then I look at Tom Brady and he's like, I don't give a shit. Because we'll start with Dak, though. 4 years, gets a $66 million signing bonus right after he signs the dotted line.
Yep. First year salary, though, is only $9 million for a grand total of $75 in year one. Yeah, $40 million per season. That's $2.5 million per game and $41,667 per minute played.
Per minute played, wow.
$41,000 for every minute he plays. How grotesque is this world?
Is any money guaranteed for this contract?
Still, even at $66 million, he's only $90 or $99 million short of the 4-year contract. I mean, so he's got $66 million up front. I mean, that's a shitload of money.
So that's like going to break his ankle again, you think?
That's like paying him $15 million a year for 4 years. You know what I mean?
Where have I heard that before?
You know,
wanting to pay a running back $15 million and he thinking that he's above that. So, where have I heard that before?
Yeah. All right,
anyway,
so
and he's probably not going to have a team this year.
Yeah, and
so
here's another thing.
Shit.
Here's another thing that's built into Dak's contract. No franchise tagging him.
Well,
he's got a no tag clause and a no trade clause built into this one.
Oh.
So Dallas is on the hook for this dude. And when you think about it, could this freaking deal hamstring Dallas for future guys?
Oh, absolutely. You're going to have to tie – if you want to pay these other guys like, I don't know, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, if you want to pay guys like Your offensive line, if you want to build a good offensive line, if you want to have DeMarcus Lawrence on your defensive line as well, you're going to have some money in the bank. But guess what? You shove it out for the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most important guy in professional sports in this day and age. The quarterback position is critical to have.
I thought you were saying the quarterback at the Dallas Cowboys.
No,
I was like, you're fucking high.
No,
you're absolutely
just
high.
playing that position.
Okay, yes.
You know what I mean? And then what kind of message does this send to other teams? Like we were just talking before the show, what the fuck does this do to Bears? You can't tell me that the Bears haven't reached critical mass now and they're like on the hook. I mean, you just franchised freaking Robinson. It makes no sense to franchise him and then not have anybody to freaking throw to him, because then next year, what do you do then? What do you do then? You're going to lose your GM. You're going to lose your freaking head coach. You're going to lose your top receiver and playmaker, and you still didn't buy a fucking quarterback.
I mean, it's kind of like what's happening in Philly. Just
exactly.
Think about it.
And the Bears were in on the freaking Carson Wentz sweepstakes. Now, I don't think it was a two-way thing. I think most of the time it was more Carson Wentz wanting something unique like Dallas. But for my purposes, I'm thinking, holy shit, the Bears, I think they dodged a bullet not picking him. Because what happens to guys like freaking Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson? I think you go all in and you're going to have to, and it sounds horrible, but I think they end up mortgaging the freaking franchise to get that playmaker. Because you have too good of a fucking defense. You have too good of a team not to produce more at the quarterback position.
The Bears, in their entire Super Bowl era as an organization, I'm not saying back when they won their championships.
Right.
I'm saying in the Super Bowl era, have never had a top-tier quarterback.
Nope.
They never have. And you will say,
right.
but what about the Super Bowl? It's like Jim McMahon. He wasn't a top-tier quarterback.
No, he was a gamer. He was a get-it-done kind of guy, but he wasn't.
And I bet he would even tell you that, that 85 Bears defense, hands down, carried my ass to that Super Bowl.
And not to mention the fact that he had Walter Payton in his backfield, and then you had Willie Gault, and you had a number of playmakers on that team to make things happen.
And then you think back to previous years of what they've had. They've had Trubisky, Foles that have switched in and out.
Yeah.
Before that, they had Mike Glennon for a year. Before that,
and they paid him $10 million to get him.
Before that, they went through a trial period with Jay fucking Cutler as their quarterback for 6 years. They went.
Yeah, but I still liked Cutler just simply because he had potential, but then all of the other missing pieces that they didn't have. So I think Cutler sometimes gets a bad deal.
And then you had Rex Grossman before that for a couple of years as well. So in the 21st century, they have had not a good round of quarterbacks. The Bears
what about
just
Kyle
have never.
Orton? Kyle Orton was there. I mean, he was a huge impact guy. Jim Miller, Steve Walsh, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Tomczak, none of those guys. Hell, fucking Flutie played in '86.
Yeah.
You could go all the way back to freaking Bob Avellini back in the 1970s. And the last time you had an awesome Bears quarterback was the legendary Hall of Famer number 42 Sid Luckman.
Yeah, and
other than that,
but as I said, that's dating back to literally their championship days. That's not even dating back to their Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
The Bears, stop getting me, Coach. Stop bringing up the fucking Bears on this show. I'm tired of.
I know, but the reason I brought it
sad.
up, the reason why I brought it up was just simply because the Dak Prescott deal changes other teams and what they're going to do, and the Bears have to freaking press. I mean, they're my squad, so I bring them up, but at the same time, what are you going to do?
I know, and the Steelers restructured Big Ben's contract.
Yeah, and guess who was after Big Ben? That's right, the Chicago Bears were after Big Ben.
Oh,
they had freaking detailed freaking meetings, interior meetings with management to try and come up with a deal if he couldn't accept the fact that he was going to get less money at Pittsburgh.
But he was willing to do that.
He restructured.
Regardless.
Yeah, and Ben's one of those guys where he started his career, he's going to finish it in the same spot.
This will be his 18th season, man.
Yeah,
and that's
his
the
longevity
most ever with one franchise
in
NFL history. most ever with the franchise in NFL history. So for one team playing. So yeah. And then the Steelers informed Bud Dupree that they're not going to franchise.
I saw that. Oh my God!
So I mean,
you just had a freaking tandem with Bud Dupree.
I know,
and
but I
freaking
think they're actually. But
TJ Watt
with Ben's restructured contract, they're like, hey, look, we have some money now that we could actually give Bud Dupree. So
you think that'll happen?
I believe it will, but the problem is that there are other positions that you're like, dude.
We were talking about. We were just talking about Villanueva. You got to put out money for a left tackle, buddy.
I know, and I think that I don't want to see Villanueva go just because I know his story.
Yeah.
But as I said, the NFL is not a place for heartfelt stories. It's the highest competitive level of football
perfect
in the
example
country.
is freaking Miami. Freaking Kyle Van Noy signed a freaking huge contract with them and $50+ million. And he's the defensive team captain. And you could see freaking Miami getting better defensively throughout the year. And he falls victim to this salary cap. They just can't justify paying him more with the what is it, 8 to 10% loss in cap value for all
$17 million are lost in cap value this year.
And they couldn't justify keeping him. So
Yeah.
some team's going to freaking find an outside linebacker, and they're going to fall in love with Kyle Van Noy. It wouldn't surprise me if he ended up back in freaking New England.
It wouldn't, because
along
guess
with
what?
his old pal freaking
Hightower, because it wouldn't surprise me with the amount of people who are like, yeah, we're coming back this year. So
yeah.
Now the only problem is that they don't have old 12 back there to guide them. But
I know that, but you know as well as I do, if you have a decent defense and you give your offense a chance, I just believe in a Belichick.
Where have I heard that before? What? Oh, that's right, Tampa. Holy shit, crazy! I know, right? It's crazy. Sorry.
Right.
Anyway. Speaking of Tampa, they franchise tagged Chris Godwin. They got Chris Godwin. I thought that was the second best solution, was to franchise tag him. I personally would have franchise tagged
Playoff Lenny?
No, I would have franchise tagged Shaq Barrett. I think that if I would have franchise tagged him, because if you franchise tag him, Chris Godwin was already, I think, on the hook for taking less money. But what Shaq Barrett has done the past 2 seasons is, I think, unmatched. Not this past season, but 2019, he led the league in sacks. He's the NFL sack leader. Comes into this season, he doesn't have the most explosive year until the playoffs, when him and JPP are the defining factor for that defense. The pressure that they created, I go, this tandem cannot get lost. They cannot get lost. He is he's a previous Super Bowl champion with Denver. I mean, he is a protege of fucking Von Miller, learning underneath of him. And you're telling me that you're not going to try and get this guy to stay with your team with everything that he has done the past 2 years?
That's the big thing right now is that's what they're doing. Is once they solidified Chris Godwin, they're going to go after, because the free agent market hits next week?
It's open right now, I'm assuming, because the NFL season should be opening. The NFL year should be opening. But anyway, you have
free agent market next week.
There's 3 players
Shaq
that
Barrett's
you need to keep.
Expected to hit it next week. And it just says right here that having tagged wide receiver Chris Godwin, I'm told the Bucs have begun discussions in earnest on a long-term deal with Shaq Barrett, one of the stars of the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. He's a crucial edge rusher in the Todd Bowles defense. Barrett won't come cheap, but Tampa's working on keeping him.
So there's 3 players that I think you absolutely need to keep. You need to keep Godwin.
Yep.
Of course, you need to have that secondary threat behind Evans. Number 2 is you need to keep Gronkowski. And I don't think there's any question that they're going to be able to re-sign him. Oh, wait, no. There's 4 people. I'm sorry. Gronkowski, find a way to get him back in there as well. And I'm sure, this will be Brady's last year. If it is, he'll want to be there with them. Number 3 is Shaq Barrett, as I said.
Got to have him.
You have to have him on the edge. And number 4, you got to have Lenny.
Playoff
I'm telling
Lenny.
you right now, when Ronald Jones was not in down the stretch.
Well, he had to, it was the whole COVID situation. But I get it. I mean, I get it. I think having a tandem back is important, and that Ronald Jones and freaking playoff Lenny were
he
just
has a touchdown
huge.
in every single game.
They were huge.
He has a touchdown in every single game, a big run in every single game.
Well, I think he revitalized his career coming to Tampa. I mean, I think the challenge of being who Jacksonville drafted him and expected him to be, he proved that. Now it's time to get paid and play your ass off and be playoff Lenny again. But be freaking regular season all pro Lenny. And then I think, hey, you go from there because he's just fucking good. That's all there is to it.
And hell, I mean, if you can do that again, I have no reason but to believe that this Buccaneers team is going to do it again. I just have no reason but to believe it because if you get all those players back, sure, you might not be able to get Sue. That is one player that I'm almost certain you might not be able to get.
Yeah, but that's where you find guys, a young kid in the draft.
And if you can find an interior defensive tackle, 100% then. But if you can get Gronk back and have him, Brait, and O.J. Howard.
O.J. Howard or
O.J. Howard.
O.J. Howard's coming back. I mean,
I'm just saying, if you can get these players back in there, 100%. I have no reason but to believe that they will dominate once again. And not only just that, they re-signed Levante David, and that was crucial to have him with Devin White again. Yeah. Those two together are the best duo in the NFL right now.
They're about as good at the linebacker position as you can get, period. Yeah. They just are. They're that good.
I wasn't sold on Devin White until I saw this year, and I was like, man, he is something else. 140 tackles. That is unbelievable. So you sign him to a 2-year, $25 million deal, and that's huge. But as I said,
they're really close to the salary cap, though, so they're going to have to really, really work hard to get him. The big thing is that Shaq Barrett's only 28. He's right in his prime. He's freaking just –
I know.
He's going to be a machine.
I just think, though, that, he might come to his senses and say, hey, I can still tear it up here and make some money later. Who knows, on a 1-year deal maybe?
Well, we just talked about it. J.J. Watt is 32, so he's got 3 seasons on freaking Shaq Barrett. So and this dude's a monster. I mean, he's gonna have an opportunity to make big money. So it's just like you said, hey, I'll get a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal. I'm only 30, and if I'm still healthy, then I get bank. Chase another Super Bowl and win it.
That's what I'm saying. I say that you continue on here with Tampa because, Tom Brady, this might be his last season with everything that's going on. Because, to get 8, that is absolutely insane and magical if that ever happened. But anyway, so you resign Levante David. Bam, boom, there you go. You get him back there. You're going to have both safeties back in Winfield and Whitehead. You're going to get Davis, Murphy, Bunting Jr.
Yeah.
You're going to get all those guys.
Yeah, and I still think as good as Sue was down the playoff stretch, goddamn was he good. I still think that youth has a higher upswing. And I'm not saying Sue's washed up. I mean, he could have really, in all reality, reinvented himself in playing the position. And who's to say that Sue won't take less money to stay there? I know that these guys are chasing paydays, and I totally get that. You're playing days.
On the past couple of years. He's been on 1-2-year deals.
Yeah,
took that 1-year deal with LA. They went to a Super Bowl, and of course he lost. And then he's taken a 2-year deal.
He took it.
He took a 2-year deal. Don't fuck with my words, okay? Don't mess with my words. I've heard a lot worse on the internet.
Yeah,
that have a lot bigger followings than my ass, and yet somehow they have a platform.
Right.
Anyway.
All
right. So another one. Kyle Long is coming back, apparently.
What?
Kyle Long says he's coming back.
Why?
Because he's shredded, and he's healthy.
Come on.
Yeah.
How old is Kyle Long? He's got to be close to 40.
The old Bears offensive lineman says that he is coming back and he is looking to get back into the NFL. Oh, here you go. 25 minutes ago, right away, Cowboys have restructured the contracts for offensive linemen Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, and La'el Collins. Holy fuck. Okay. So they had a plan in place to make sure that this would happen with Dak. They created
they needed to. They
created roughly $17 million in cap room. So now you have some money to work with, actually, for this season. Now you actually have some money to work with, whether that be through free agent on one-year deals, or if you want to sign some big name like DeMarcus Lawrence to an even bigger deal. If you want to give some money away, I mean that's huge as well.
No, Kyle Long's only 32. I was thinking of his older brother.
That's Chris Long.
Chris Long. I remember watching him in spring practice when he was at UVA. He was a fucking man. He was a man. Saints,
oh my God, the Saints. Two things. They're losing Emmanuel Sanders. They released him, and then Drew Brees is gonna test free agency. Who is gonna? What is this Peyton Manning shit that's going on right now?
Why not?
What?
One big payday. What's wrong with that?
Who is he gonna go to?
The Bears.
Oh God! No! Shut up! We're done with them.
That would be cool as shit.
I don't care. Stop talking about the Bears.
He would get hurt, and the Bears would suck anyway. Sorry.
I don't want to talk about the Bears. I'm tired of it. And now you just have a bunch of like franchise tags that didn't happen. You have Chris Carson not get tagged by the Seahawks. You have,
We didn't talk about Trent Brown?
No, I forgot to mention that Trent Brown from the Raiders got traded back to New England, basically, with a 7th-round draft pick for a 4th-round draft pick. What the hell is that? He had his best season ever in New England.
If I had Trent Brown versus a Volkswagen, I'd probably pick Trent Brown.
He had that Super Bowl year.
Yeah,
he
was
his
dominating,
best season ever.
Dominating. Well, that's why he got his big free agency.
I know that's
paycheck.
why he got his big free agency check.
And so a lot of times those guys get those big free agency checks, and then they go back to where they came from, just because
they realize, it's not as fun.
Well, home is home,
And as I said, it's not as fun, taking all this money and sucking ass out here.
Yeah.
You hear that, Le'Veon? I know it might be hard for you. I know it might be hard.
Okay.
But if you thought that going to the Jets was a great idea, you're an idiot. That's all. Same thing with Antonio Brown. Really? The Raiders? That's where you wanted to go, was the fucking Raiders? This was back when they were in Oakland still. They weren't even in Vegas yet. Hell, imagine if he signs with the Raiders now. Imagine if John Gruden is like, all's forgiven. Let's have you on the team. Imagine that.
Oh, my God. No way.
Imagine that if that happens.
I don't know.
No way that happens, though. I'm just speaking out of my ass. But I think that would be hilarious, honestly. Titans, they got rid of Malcolm Butler. They also are tagging Jonnu Smith. There's a lot that is going on here. But as we said, free agency is not open unless you're re-signing to your respective team.
Patrick Peterson.
Aaron Jones from Green Bay is not getting franchise tagged either. So
yeah, I mean, Patrick Peterson's going to be a freaking. He's going to be a Hall of Fame freaking discussion guy. You know what I mean? And he's not
Patrick Peterson. If it wasn't for a guy like Jalen Ramsey in the NFL right now, Patrick Peterson is the best cornerback in the NFL. If there was one guy who gave Megatron a fucking headache when they went up against each other, other than Richard Sherman for one game, it was Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson has probably some of the best speed as a defensive back ever. He is one of the best cornerbacks to ever play the game. And the problem that people don't realize is that he plays for Arizona. They have been a laughingstock for years. But Patrick Peterson has been one of those players that has been one of the best. But as I said, he has fallen off because you're getting all these other guys like Jalen Ramsey in the league who are they are really good. They are very good. So anyway, there's that. You have any other free agency
Sammy
stuff?
Watkins?
Wow.
And what do you do with him?
Well,
He's a young guy.
Problem.
What is he? He's not even 28 years old. What is he? 26, 27 years old?
I want to say around
Maybe
there.
that?
This is a problem that we run into with Kansas City, though, is that how are you going to re-sign these big names?
Yeah, and it says right here.
Names?
So I started to do a real quick search, and it says this is probably the off season where teams stop paying big money to Watkins. But he's still only 27, going on 28,
and he's their number 2 guy still. Let's not forget, like, if he wasn't hurt, he is their number 2 guy behind Tyreek Hill. He is their second guy.
But if you're not freaking catching 800 to 1,000 yards and freaking balls, well, you're not helping the squad.
And as I said, he was injured a lot this past year. He didn't even play until the Super Bowl.
Right.
So
yeah.
I mean, he was injured a lot, and on top of that, has been a characteristic of him, is being injured a lot and not being healthy for being a top tier receiver for your team. And as I said with Kansas City, this is where we're going to run into an issue with that $500 million contract that you gave Pat Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I've always wondered about that. You know what I mean? It's just one of those crazy shit things where you give this monster contract, and then when you have a couple of guys that are on the bubbles and they're not producing, well, you just let them go, and then who's he going to
It's like what Tony Romo said in the Super Bowl. He's like, look, this team, they're great right now, but down the road, are they really going to still be great? You know, these players are going to leave. They're going to be gone because they can't pay them. They literally can't because they sold the whole fucking kitchen sink. They pulled it out of the wall, pipes and all, and gave it to Mahomes.
How crazy would it be? And now, it's not crazy to think that injuries could damage a team. I totally get that.
They have before.
I know.
Look at Indy. Think about Indy. With Peyton Manning getting injured in 2011, their whole season fell apart. It was an awful year.
Right. I mean, you could go back in time and you could look at different teams and what happened when that top-tier guy went down. And it's just like bad. Freaking look at New Orleans this year.
You saw Mahomes go down in Cleveland. I'm like, dude, Cleveland was supposed to win that game.
Yeah.
You saw it happen.
And they're another team. Nobody's talking about them, in free agency. Maybe they don't have any bubbles to worry about. They're just going to get better. They finally got the coach that they need. They got a gunslinger. They got some freaking defensive ball players. They've got some guys in place that can get the job done. Shit. If I'm in the AFC with Pittsburgh and Baltimore and all those guys, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, this team's fucking good.
And now you're going to get to a situation where, like, I know he's not, in my eyes, he's not the best, but Baltimore's going to be like, dude, do we really have to pay Lamar Jackson this much money? Right. They're going to have to start thinking about that type of stuff. Whether it's going to go the Dak way, and they're going to be like,
put McSorley in.
It's literally created this whole spiral of like, dude, this is coming down.
And that's why.
And
I hate it. I know you hate hearing it, but that's what it did to the Bears. It's just when you have a team that's struggling at the quarterback position. And then you have this monster contract and all these moving pieces start falling in place. Teams are going to react. They're going to react to that. Which,
It's why I've always admired teams like New England and Pittsburgh. They go like, look, we're not shoving out contracts here. We've never been about that. We just haven't. Sure, the Patriots have been the team to go to for the 21st century in terms of how championships are built, and so are the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have the same amount as New England. Like, they are organizations that have been like, we've never given out huge money to these incoming players or these rookies who have come through us. The only players that they have given out huge money to have been their Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and that's it. And that's because they knew that, like, look, they're going to be good for years. Ben won a Super Bowl in his second year. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in his second year as a quarterback. I look at that and I go, okay, well, there is a difference there. And as I said, it's because those guys are actual winners. Sure, Pat Mahomes, he did win a Super Bowl, but you shoved, as I said, $500 million?
Yeah.
That's 2 years worth of salary cap just gone out the window for him.
Yeah. Now, it's not like he's not worth it. because he is a dynamic, young, freaking, I used the word gunslinger earlier. He is just a difference maker. But that amount of money will eventually cost you. Hey, Coach, Coach, you can't be rubbing up against the mic. Don't put your ass in my face, cat. I'll kill you. Oh, jeez, he did it anyway. All right. So there's only one other possible guy that I thought. Juju.
Honestly, I don't really care at this point about him. I really don't.
It's about him, not the team.
And it was towards the end of the year. And maybe he'll prove me wrong, but as of right now, I don't really care. Okay. And I can't worry about that.
I just thought I'd throw it out
Coach,
there. It's
stop
one of the things
against the mic, please. Yeah. Stop that. Stop that. And don't lay on the keyboard because I'll hurt you. I will. I'm just kidding.
So I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's crazy. I think the next week things start to fall in place. I think there is going to be a huge movement somewhere, and it's all going to fall in place from Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott set the precedent that teams are going to react to. And I've used the term before, but you can't mortgage your franchise, and I think that's what's going to happen for somebody. And I'm not saying it's my beloved Bears, but it could be somebody who's going to mortgage their franchise to get Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson.
Okay, well, let's get the beer because we're going to start talking about
All right.
movies.
Give me a second.
Are you going to get the beer?
Yes. Shut your face.
What are you looking up?
I have a dog at my heels.
Oh.
And I got all this freaking spam on my screen trying to get the spam.
You have too many damn animals in this house.
Yeah.
You have animals everywhere in this house. We have a co-star on this, co-host on this show named Coach, and a cat named Coach. And they are nothing alike, I will tell you that much.
How much bigger than he is?
And this cat likes, and the cat coach likes being outside. Other coach doesn't. He'll stay inside. Okay, so what are we working with here?
This is
what in the world?
Real treat.
Devil's backbone.
Yes.
Have we tried these?
No, not this one.
No?
No. So Devil's Backbone has a number of different varieties from Devil's Backbone. But this is called the Premium Lager from the brewing company right here in good old Virginia. The one I've been to, which was a Route 11
Dog's breath stinks.
Route 11 chips. We delivered a lot to Lexington. We drove all the way the hell down there. It's a couple hours away. How good is that? How good of a fuck? I'm telling you.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
Right. So they came up with this freaking can. It's not like anything we've seen before. It's just called Backbone Premium Lager. That's what it is. And so when we talk about freaking measuring,
when you're done,
we talk about measuring what it takes to have a beer. This is it's like a.
I will pound 12 in an instant.
Well, no. Okay. What I'm saying is this is a tweener. It's not exactly a full body beer, and it's not a light beer. It's just not. It really sings to me like Yuengling's Premium, which is a premium lager, and that's one of the oldest beers in America. But they fucking crushed this beer. And the only reason I'm talking about it now is because I couldn't wait to drink one. And as soon as I drank it, I was like, oh my goodness, this fits into Utica Club, freaking Narragansett, those beers that as soon as we drank them, we're like, holy shit, this is good.
You got a 12-pack because I'll drink it.
No,
right
I
now.
did not.
No, but I'm saying, like, remember, that's our criteria. Do
Right.
you see yourself drinking multiple of these at like a party or something? And yes, absolutely 100% yes, I will.
I'm telling you what, that is a crisp, smooth, zero aftertaste. Just, it's kind of stupid to say, but is beer supposed to be refreshing?
Yeah, what? I'm sorry, what?
Is it supposed to be refreshing?
Yes.
And this is absolutely refreshing. So, Devil's Backbone, these guys, they freaking kicked ass on this beer. We got to get this on.
On what?
I'm trying to put it. I'm trying to get it so I
okay.
get a picture so we can get it.
On what? You're dead air here.
I'm sorry.
You can't think of the word, huh?
We got to get it on our social media. And I'm going to send this to you. You get it on Twitter for the pub.
That added another hops to me. Yeah,
All
I
right,
actually
so I'm
have
going to send this to you, and so we have, we got to get this up under, the thank you to Devil's Backbone, okay? Because this fucking beer is, I wish we had these guys as a sponsor, because I'm telling you what, if they sponsored us, we'd drink this beer every freaking show.
Coach, are you being nice to Gunny? Yeah, you love him. You're his best friend. Anyway,
Yeah.
other than our other dog. Anyway, what movie? So for movies / TVs or whatever.
Yeah.
How many did How many do you have this week?
I did too.
I have one. It's a TV show
All right.
that I started watching. So it's on Hulu. So I started watching it because I was like, I'm kind of looking for like a new cop show. So I started watching something called The Rookie. It's a show on Hulu, and it's basically about this 40-year-old man who has a life-threatening accident / event that happens to him, and it basically makes him, want to become a police officer because he was almost involved in a shooting, and so he's basically and the cops come to save the day, and so he's like, well, I want to become a cop because he's like, look, my career is in the tank. I don't have anything, so I'm gonna go ahead and become a cop. And I'm liking it so far, I will say, but I have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling about this show. I have a bad feeling
are there multiple?
There's multiple seasons, yeah.
So it's not that.
I know, but I have a bad feeling that this show is going to go the way of political correctness and how everything in the media has happened in the past.
We're not supposed to talk politics, but we know that there is a cancel culture out there that if you don't present a proper message by whoever's listening, whatever standards they have. I mean, that's how people feel. Yeah, if you're not going to hit the message that people want to see, you're going to be in trouble.
I'm loving it so far. I am. It's very cool because
anybody that you recognized before,
recognize. Let me pull it up because I have it here. Do you know Nathan Fillion?
No.
Do you know Richard Jones?
I don't know what these guys look like. I wish you should have.
I have pictures right here. Does he look familiar to you? I mean,
No.
Because I know that he is the main character. He's the main character. His name is John Nolan. And but as I said, he basically has a life-threatening incident, and he becomes a cop. And like I said, in the first season, I'm really liking it, but I have a bad feeling that it is going to turn for the worse, and I'm going to be like, dude, can I just watch a show without being tried, to be shown a message or a trend that goes on here and there? And I just want to watch a show for its cop show. It's one of the reasons why I fucking love. Coach, what the hell are you doing?
I just fucking hate ads. I'm trying to.
Then mute it.
I did. It's gone. I hate. They just show up. I just fucking hate.
It's
that.
one of the reasons why I absolutely
phones.
loved CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, because the original CSI Miami, I haven't really gotten into it because I'm like, the original is just so damn good that I'm like, I don't know if I
have
can
you
like
gone
those.
Back and watched some of the very first episodes?
Oh, I watched it
CSI?
basically all the way through. I watched basically every single episode. It's a great show.
Yeah, when they got rid of William Peterson, I was kind of like,
Ted Danson actually is very good.
He's not bad, and Larry Fishburne was not bad. They were really good, but Grisham was William Peterson was just so good.
But as I said, one of the reasons that I loved about that show is that there was no politics. There wasn't anything. It's gruesome detective work.
Yeah.
That
they just tell a quick story.
I don't care what your political affiliation is or what you believe.
Right.
There are psychopaths out there. Right. And there are sociopaths that try to rid the world. And it's in Vegas, too.
Yeah.
So,
we've been there, and you can see one of the cool things about the show is they do it in certain parts of the city, and you're like, I've been there.
Yeah. That's what I loved about that. And as I said, I'm liking The Rookie right now because there's a lot of gunfighting. There's a lot of like real things that they're trying to say, like, look, being a cop, like I didn't sign up for this to be a hero or anything. I wanted to be a cop my whole life and things like that. But I just have a feeling that I'm going to see some stuff that I'm like, really? This had to make it into the show? This had to make it into the episode to remind us, remember who you are, and remember that like cops do this type of stuff. And I'm just gonna get mad then. I'm just gonna get mad.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't disagree. I mean, you don't want to see that in a show because then it just turns you off and you can't bring yourself to come back to it.
But then you have those people out there who are like, well, if you don't really care for that stuff, then you're part of the problem. You have people like that.
Stop trying to be too smart for me. I don't need that. I don't need that shit.
Oh, I don't need it either. That's why I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so for me, so your brother, Patrick, turned us on to Narcos. About the rise of Pablo Escobar in the Medellin cartel in Colombia.
Yeah.
And when it first comes up and it says sex, nudity, violence, and smoking, I'm sorry, I just go freaking Roger Ebert and go 2 thumbs up. Because it has to be real. It has to be, because the life and world of Pablo Escobar was nothing short of a meteor. He's doing all this shit and he's drawing the attention of the United States government, and you know something bad's gonna happen. But it's just so well done. And I know there's subtitles and I know they're speaking Spanish and stuff like that, but I don't care. Because it's not like it's hard to follow. It's really not. And okay, so there's a couple of characters here and a couple of characters there that probably aren't real, or there's some sort of half-assed amalgamation of a couple different people. But the acting is superb. It is just so well done. Now, is it as good as The Wire? I don't think so, but it is really good. The violence, the setup, and how they tell the story, fantastic. Just so good. I enjoyed that. And I've enjoyed it so much. And so we're still in the first season. And so I can't speak to spoilers, although I do know what happens to Pablo Escobar because I watched it. I've read about it and stuff like that. All those things are very real. And so far, the guy who plays Pablo Escobar, phenomenal actor. It's just so well done. My hat's off to Netflix. And this is why, and your mother and I were talking about, this is why Netflix and companies like Netflix and YouTube Originals kick the shit out of regular TV because they're able to put a product out.
The streaming services are top tier right now with their exclusivity deals. They are.
Yeah, they just destroy.
Forget
the only thing
TV.
the only thing that rivals them even remotely are the really, really good HBO and Showtime
but
series.
You get those on HBO Max now.
Right.
You get those.
Right. Those are all really good, though. I mean, I'm not saying that Netflix has cornered the market on quality shows.
No, it's not. Trust me.
There's plenty of good stuff,
shows.
But these streaming services are just kicking the shit out of regular TV because it's all the same stuff. It's nurses and doctors. It's a lawyer. It's a cop show. It's whatever shitty show. You got a young couple with no money. You got an older couple with money. You got whatever stupid thing that they're trying to push out there, and everything's a rehash. But that's not what Netflix. That's not what HBO Max. That's not what Showtime does. So my hat's off to them. I just get so much fun out of that. But yeah, so that's what I've been watching. The other thing I watched is Coming to America. Coming to America.
The new one? Or
yes, I watched the new one.
I was going to say, the one with Eddie Murphy? I was like, that's
the
an
new
old
one.
Okay.
The new one that just came out to Amazon Prime like March 1st or something like that.
Okay.
I was expecting cheesy and shitty. Eddie hasn't really put together anything spectacular in a long time, other than the Clumps or whatever that was. Whatever. What was the series where? Oh, my little Hercules.
Oh, the Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor.
Now that was some good stuff. But, going back and Pluto Nash and some of the other stupid shit that he put together, Eddie hasn't had a home run. But I'm telling you what, I was expecting Cheese Dick, and I was like, I don't know. And I was telling your mother, I hope it's good. So I talked with Clarence, right? We've had him on the show, and I laughed my ass off. It was just good, and I enjoyed it. I thought it might have had better parts, funnier parts than the original. But yeah, Eddie fucking smashed. He did a great job. So,
okay.
But that was huge. Coming to America was huge. Narcos. If you haven't seen Narcos, really good. Yes, it's got subtitles, but who gives a shit? It's really, really well done.
I still recommend if you have Netflix, Mindhunter.
You know how I feel about that. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it'll come back.
Same here.
In the fall.
I'm keeping my head twisted that it will as well. So, but hey, only
because they got to catch the BTK killer, man.
Yeah, the 10th of March. Hey, 21 days until Kong vs. Godzilla. So just you wait. Streaming on HBO Max, and you're goddamn right, I already have it ready to go. So anyway, there's that. We're gonna go ahead on to Hops, but anyway,
my Hops has more to do with it. Is another show I watched that I'm enjoying a lot.
Real quick, Backbone 10 out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10 already because it's so delicious. It's in that middle ground, as Coach said.
You got to get,
I could drink many of these.
You have to find a Martin's or a Giant that has. They have a craft beer section in them, and Martin's and Giant does a great job with it. But if you have a store that you get to that has it, and it's available to it, you will not be disappointed. Great beer, 4.5% alcohol by volume, served in 16 ounce. The big pounders. Devil's Backbone freaking murdered when they made this one. Murdered. I hate to say murdered because that's part of my freaking hops.
So I said I had one hops, but I'm just talking. Like I have another one because it's something that I've been doing these past couple of weeks. I know here on the show that I'm supposed to post this show to social media. But I have literally not come. I just can't come to grips with even like looking at my phone some days. There are days when I just want to not even look at my phone and just throw it away. Because
I get that.
I look at my phone and I go, if I open up a social media app, I'm just going to be called a bunch of things that I just don't even want to be told. That like,
I get rid of all of those, CJ. I block all those guys. The only thing I want to watch or look at are messages from people that have stupid shit on them. Like I just joined the Far Side group, so I get all these great Far Side comics. I freaking get all these little links to little football coaching tips and powerful messages about, hey, cut your bullshit, just freaking work harder. These things that people need to grasp.
I just find that like this phone, you hold so much in your hand with everything that goes on that all I can say is that I really just want to not even look at my phone some days. There are some days where I'm just like, I just want to sit down and watch a TV show. Coach, get off of there. Sorry about that. Coach is being weird. Sorry about that. Anyway, as I said, you have so much power in your hand. Hold on a sec. Okay, we're back. I'm never allowing a cat back on this table because
punch him in the head.
He literally just made everything go haywire on this computer. Anyway,
what an asshole.
I do not like looking at my phone most days, mainly because, number one, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, and I just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And there are pressures of the world that apparently, there are things that I am made out to be in this world that apparently I am, just by the way that, your political affiliations are, your outlook on issues in the world. Even if you don't even have an opinion on any of those issues, you are part of the problem. And for me, I don't even want to look at my phone.
Yeah.
I just don't. And
yeah, I told you, I eliminate all those things. I don't want to hear any of that negative shit.
When people say like, well, why don't you have an opinion? It's because I'm a boring person. I like to go to bed every night and not have to worry about that type of stuff.
I don't worry about what other people are saying and thinking. You know what? I have a really nice house. I have the things that I have, and if I worried about what other people were doing and saying, then I might not have any of those things. So I'd be miserable. I just kind of steer away from that. That's just me. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I just find that recently, the past couple of weeks, I want to watch my TV, and I put my phone to the side, and I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah, I don't disagree, son. I totally agree with you.
Now, my second hops. Today, 1 year ago today, Call of Duty Warzone released for Call of Duty. The big Battle Royale released for Call of Duty released 1 year ago today. Since its release has made over $2 billion of revenue for Activision. Warzone alone. This past summer in 2020 with the pandemic, it raised over $500 million from just microtransactions alone. This is the biggest this is the second biggest battle royale to ever hit the market behind Fortnite. Fortnite, of course, it blew everything out of the water.
Are people still doing all of that stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Battle royales are the big thing right now, and I think almost like every single game is most likely going to have a battle royale, just because it has an audience that is willing to go and follow each game. It's a very basic concept. You fight to the end. You fight to the end of the circles.
Yeah.
You kill the last person, you win. It's not a hard concept, and that's what people cater to. But the fact that 1 year ago today, throughout this past year, I've even gotten into it, and I even enjoy it a lot, actually. But I will say that, it's created over $2 billion worth of revenue.
Yeah.
Just Warzone alone.
That's crazy.
And that's unreal. In a pandemic, it created over $2 billion of revenue.
Well, that's the place where
you
you needed to be, though. I mean, in a pandemic, people are at home, and it opened the door for them to be able to play.
But all I'm saying is, in a couple of months, from May to September, it created $500 million of microtransactions for Activision.
Yeah.
That's in a game that's supposed to have free content. It still made $500 million of free content.
That always cracks me up.
That's absolute horseshit. Still, people, stop spending your money on that stuff.
Right?
Stop.
There's no need to spend any money on that.
It's a digital item. And on top of that, it's going to go away next year. You're not going to have it because the next game is going to come out. So you just spent your money on shit that isn't going to matter in a year. It's like I always say with Madden and FIFA. It's like you're literally spending all this money to try and get these cards that next year it's going to go away. You just wasted all that money for nothing. For absolutely nothing. So anyway.
Yeah, people do that. That's what they do.
That's my hops. Over $2 billion worth of revenue. 1 year ago today, Warzone was released. And since then, it's probably as I said, it's the second biggest release ever for a Battle Royale other than Fortnite, because Fortnite took everything out of the water. It's probably the most played game of all time with how much it made because it's a free-to-play game. But Warzone, it made a lot of money this past year because, as I said, it's free-to-play. Anyone can play it. You don't need a subscription. Just plug in and play.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, so mine's related to TV and something video-ish. It's a repeatable program. It's called How It Really Happened. It's on what is it? Headline News Network, HLN. And it's one of those evening programs. It's called How It Really Happened, and it's there's a young black guy who does the commentary for it and narration. His name is Hill Harper, and that dude just has a smooth voice and just the way the things are put together. When I watch this show, I just hadn't turned it on in a while, and I just flashed it on today. And they were doing an episode on Ted Bundy, the serial killer Ted Bundy in Florida. And they showed shit that I hadn't seen before. And the interviews with the people that they had were things that I hadn't seen before. And I've seen a ton of freaking Bundy shit. I've seen so many different things. But the show is kind of like, when I look at a show, does it come off smooth and seamless, or does it have some sort of message that they're trying to promote? And How It Really Happened just seemed to be so smooth. It was just like it was effortless that they presented this picture of freaking Ted Bundy with these really cool interspliced video clips. I was really into it. And I hadn't been that way in a long time. And I've read hours and hours of shit on Bundy and the things that he did and stuff. But it was just this 1 hour show. You sat down, you watched it, and you were like, holy shit, that was really good. And I enjoyed it. So How It Really Happened, the Bundy thing is a two-parter. And I just watched the first part. So it was really good. And so those are the things I like to recommend because I kind of get into that stuff. Those crime drama shows are always really cool. I think they fit in the same mold as like the CSIs.
Yeah.
Because they tell the story in such a way in a short period of time, and you're like, oh, I totally get that. And then they show you some videos, and they always have. There's no. How do I say this? There's no actor reconstruction. They're showing you real footage and crime photos and narration rather than try to have fake actors portray portions of it and stuff like that. So I thought that was really, really good about the show. So that was one of the things. And the other thing is, and it's a video game thing, Call of Duty Cold War or Black Ops Cold War had better fix their fucking launchers before I have a coronary, because it just doesn't stand to reason to me that if I have an RPG and I launch it at you, that you're going to survive if you have a pistol in your hand. You don't know how many times I have shot a rocket launcher at somebody and they just kind of brushed it off like they were cleaning dandruff off their shoulder and got a kill on me. And I'm one of these guys who's never done the whole dark matter and what was the other? Damascus Steel. But I managed to pull off Damascus Steel. So when this whole dark matter challenge came along, I was ready to go. And I told you about the sniper rifles, and I wasn't doing so well. And then all of a sudden, things started to click, and I started getting freaking big time kills. So I mastered them, and it was actually fun to do. I had diamond sniper rifles, so I have all of the shootable weapons all mastered except for the launchers and the knife. And that's it. That's all I have for dark matter. And those
You're gonna get it, man.
Those launchers make me want to throw my controller through the fucking TV screen because it just doesn't make any sense.
Coach, I'm telling you right now, what you were going for compared to Damascus, you're going to like getting dark matter more than you will Damascus, because Damascus, I'm going to tell you straight up, is an ugly-ass camo that was not worth the grind. It is not even comparable.
It is, because the shield the Shield was a son of a bitch. Don't
No, I'm
get
not
me wrong.
talking about the Shield.
I'm just talking about the challenges to get I'm talking about the challenges to get the final camo.
Jesus Christ, that cat.
Yeah, he's a
Sorry
son of a
about
bitch.
that.
So I'm just talking about the challenges to get there, and the Shield was so annoying to me. It is the same struggle that I'm facing with the launchers.
But as I'm said, the final end game, the camo itself, Dark Matter is 100% more worth it than Damascus with the way it looks.
Yeah, I enjoyed the handguns immensely. I liked the mid-range weapons.
You're gonna get it. I'm telling you, you're gonna get it.
I'm gonna try.
You did it with if you could do the snipers in Damascus, you can do.
Dude, I enjoyed that at the end as well. I struggled really badly with the beginning of these until you can get the adjustments to the gun to create it the way you need it to. And once I got them, it became so much fun. And I couldn't stop using it. I was using them even after I had already had them diamond, just so that people would see me making kills with diamond sniper rifles. And I told you this before. The handguns, were a complete treat. They were so fun to do. And hardcore is a son of a bitch, but I enjoy playing it. I'm enjoying playing hardcore more than I ever have. So I hope they do something, maybe buff a couple of launchers so that it's not such a pain. Because the double kills, oh my god!
All right, Coach.
It's just
you could complain all night. I'm sure.
Yeah, I know. I can't about that one.
All right, so shorter episode today, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Thanks to the damn cat.
I mean, we had to spend some time updating the computer and messing with the cat. But yeah, Devil's Backbone, 100%, 10 out of 10. Backbone Premium Lager, 10 out of 10. I promise I'll get on my phone this time to post this. I promise I will.
Get on there and put that on there.
But guys, until next time, we will see you later. Peace out. Love you.
See ya.